Picconi.
E mi chiamo Nataly. Benvenuto alla Cucina di Nataly e Lauren.
Today we're going to teach you about how to make some of our family's favorite authentic Italian dishes. We're going to start with my absolute favorite, the margherita pizza. This is a vegetarian pizza, and then we're going to follow up for dessert with Nataly's family recipe for Italian wedding cookies. So let's get started.
As newly 21-year-olds, we've been loving drinking all the Italian wine my mom's been sending me.
And then throughout our entire show, we're going to be teaching you some historical lessons that we've learned throughout this class and where each of these dishes originated from and how they got to America.
Before we get started, we're going to show you all the ingredients we're going to need to make this margherita pizza.
Begin with all-purpose flour. Traditionally, you would use the really good Italian mozzarella cheese, but considering we're both vegan, unfortunately we have to use almond cheese.
And then we're going to need some kosher salt, extra virgin olive oil, granulated sugar, active dry yeast, and a cup of water. And then for the sauce of our pizza, we're actually going to use my family's recipe. So we started cooking it yesterday, and it was on the stove all day for 24 hours. So it's in the fridge right now, so we're going to go grab that.
First, we start with 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. You're going to add this to a big bowl. I don't know if it's just me, but as an Italian cook, I'm very messy in the kitchen.
Me too. Then we're going to take a teaspoon of granulated sugar. And then we're going to take a half a teaspoon of our active dry yeast.
I'm going to whisk it together as she's doing that.
About a half a teaspoon of active dry yeast. Growing up, watching my great-grandmother cook in the kitchen, she never had a full exact recipe. It was more, she would add some more stuff in, taste it, add some more stuff in. So we're not exactly precise cookers in this kitchen. Don't know if cookers is the right word. So after putting the dry yeast in, I'm now going to do 3/4 teaspoon of kosher salt.
Alright, once these are all whisked together, we're going to start adding the wet ingredients. So the wet ingredients, we have warm water, 7 ounces of warm water, and we have a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil.
Can I mix it while it goes in?
Yes.
Okay. So the 7 ounces of warm water going in. I see a dough forming.
1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil.
Now that the dough is mostly mixed together in this bowl, I'm going to put it onto this surface and knead it for 3 minutes.
We made sure to put all-purpose flour on the board so that it doesn't stick to whatever surface you're using.
And pizza margherita, known in English as margherita pizza, originated from the southern region of Italy in June 1889.
So there's a historical belief behind this pizza origination, and it's that the pizzaiolo Raffaello Esposito invented this dish in honor of the Queen of Italy named Margherita of Savoy. The Queen was tired of the traditional French cuisine and wanted to try Esposito's famous pizza in Naples. Her favorite pizza she tasted was the margherita pizza. This pizza also stood to represent the reunification of Italy in 1861 and presented toppings of all colors to represent the Italian flag. He used tomato sauce, which we're going to use as the base for red of the flag, mozzarella for white, and then basil as the topping for green. And therefore, we are also wearing our green, red, and white. It is unknown whether this pizza had already been popularized in Naples prior to 1889 when it was officially named, but still to this day, margherita pizza remains incredibly popular in all places around the world.
So I'm still kneading this dough because it takes a little bit of time to come together, but we'll get back to you as soon as the dough is fully mixed and ready to set. So now that I've finished kneading the dough, we're gonna put it in a warm environment for about 2 hours to let it rise.
Since it's a cold day, and it might be when you want to make this too, we decided instead to warm up a glass of water in the microwave for 3 minutes. And now we have a warm, nice environment for our dough to go into.
2 hours. While our pizza dough is rising, we're gonna start making our Italian wedding cookies. This recipe is actually a recipe that came from my great-grandmother who immigrated to Italy from Sicily to the US a long time ago. Unfortunately, she passed away, but she left us with many yummy Italian recipes.
So the first ingredients are all-purpose flour and, again, vegan butter.
And then confectioner's sugar, which is just powdered sugar. Walnuts is what my great-grandma used to use, but instead we're using almonds because Lauren is allergic to walnuts. And some vanilla extract, and I think that is all. So to start off, we put our 2 sticks of butter in here, and then we're gonna do 2 cups of flour.
A fun fact is both of our family members actually originated from Italy, and they both came through Ellis Island. My great-grandparents' side of the family actually came from northern Italy in Bergamo, and then my great-grandfather's side of the family was from Sicily.
And then my family, my mom's side is from Calabria, and then my mom's side is from Calabria, and then my mom's dad's side came from Sicily. And they both came through Ellis Island, moved to Pennsylvania, and then eventually moved to San Jose, which is where I was born. So we forgot to mention, we also preheated our oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we're gonna roll, once our dough is made, we're gonna roll those and then cook them for 25 minutes. But next we're gonna put in a half a cup to a cup of your blended almonds to make that almond flour, or it could have been walnuts if we decided to stick to the original recipe.
Here's 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract and 1/2 a cup of confectioner's sugar, or also known as powdered sugar. Thank you. All right, and then we're gonna mix it all together with a wooden spoon.
And we'll get back to you once we're ready to roll. So now the dough is all ready to roll, and we're gonna just start placing these on the sheet.
A fun fact is that we also learned in this class that in Italy, the main religion is Catholicism. And a tradition that everyone knows about is a wedding. And so these cookies are known as the wedding cookies, and they're served at weddings, but also like family gatherings and many holidays, even across America today.
My family, we eat these every Christmas. Christmas is a huge tradition for our family. We go to midnight mass, and then we come back and we cook up Italian sausage and eat Italian wedding cookies. Prior to mass, we eat a huge Italian feast. Pasta, we make homemade raviolis, we do just everything pretty much. And just family gatherings have been a big thing growing up for me in an Italian household and having Italian ancestors. Bringing the whole family together is something that's very important to us. And these gatherings are often full of lots of food, mostly Italian food, and it's always very, very loud.
Food is definitely the center of Italian just connection to your family. And I remember that every time I visit my Italian family in Italy, my grandmother is always the last to sit at the table. She makes sure that everyone is served and everyone's getting their seconds before she even sits down and eats her first meal. And it just goes to show that a woman in Italy is still usually in the kitchen, but I honestly love it.
Now that all of our cookies are all rolled out, we're gonna pop these in the oven for about 25 minutes, and then we'll get back to you when they're all done, and then we're gonna roll them in some more powdered sugar. All right, so our timer just went off, so it's time to take our Italian wedding cookies, or as my great-grandma used to call them, snowballs, out of the oven. They're looking pretty good.
They smell delicious.
And then we're gonna let them cool for a bit, and then we're gonna roll them in some powdered sugar.
So now I'm giving our Italian wedding cookies a nice dusting of powdered sugar. And here is our finished product. Let me give it a try.
So our cookies are all made, and then our dough finally rested for 2 hours. So now we rolled it out into a pizza-shaped dough crust, I guess. So now we're gonna put on all our toppings and then pop it in the oven. We're gonna bake it at 375.
375.
And we're gonna preheat that, and while we put the toppings on, the oven will heat up, and then that's all we gotta do.
So we have
We've got the homemade tomato sauce that we made last night, and we're gonna put that on and give that a little spread.
We did a little bit of olive oil just on the pan and on the top, just so like things wouldn't stick.
And you can really make this with any type of sauce. You can buy pasta sauce at the store. You can buy, you can make your own. You can use pasta sauce, pizza sauce. Honestly, your own creation.
All right, next we're gonna add our almond cheese. And we're topping with some basil. You could add fresh tomatoes after it comes out of the oven or anything you like, but we wanted to go with just the traditional Italian margherita pizza. All right, now in the oven. So here we have our margherita pizza completed, and we just kind of wanted to end with talking about how important basically family and food are to the Italian lifestyle. And I just love hearing that my family in Italy, like every work day, they're still able to take their siesta during work and all come together at one house and have lunch, and like they always have a big sit down feast and eat their biggest meal around 1 or 2 o'clock. And it's just so great to see that like the grandkids can come and like the grandparents then help out with the kids, and I just think it's awesome that food and family connection is just so ingrained into the society there.
And along with having family in Italy, I also know that I, as well as Lauren, we're very grateful that we have family that have come to the States and have lived these lives and gone through a lot to get here, and have brought all of their traditions with them and carried them on. I know that Christmas is a big thing in my family, and celebrating all of our Italian culture and everything that we do around those times, as well as other celebrations. And it's just cool to look back on the history of Italy and also see how far that my family has come, and also everything that they've brought along with them, and that I, as an American, still get to experience a lot of the Italian culture because of that.
So thank you for such a great course, and we have learned so much about just our Italian heritage and just new ideas that I'm excited to share with all my relatives.
Yes, I can't wait to pass along all of the things I learned from you and tell my family about it.
Look at
Ciao.
that. Ciao, Bella.